Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I'm healing 130 people in 11 different countries. And it's the first in a set of two healings called the June Twin Set of 2023. And the theme is Be Bold, Jump into Your Life with Both Feet, and Clear Limits. So be bold for short is the theme of these two healings. And let me take off my glasses for a sec. I can't tell if the camera's in focus with them off. Yeah, it's fine. All right. There are a lot of things that I could do and I have on my idea list to do for these two healings, and we'll see. But one thing I know for sure is a specialized unblocking above the creative rings here is what we'll do, and that'll help you to get more of your energy in. Um, and I think that has a lot to do with that jump into your life with both feet thing that I was looking at. That some people they want to be in their life with both feet. Most of my clients do. I tend to over time repel the people that just like sort of to flirt with self-improvement, I tend to, the people that are with me over time are usually the people who are more committed to it, just because I don't do a lot of the woo-woo, let's fly to Maui and be spiritual type vibe, so the people that just want to think spiritual thoughts, they go with those people. If you really want to work through your crap, those are the types that usually stay around with my stuff. Because I don't add any glamour to it. I, on purpose, try not to add glamour. So anyway, so a specialized unblocking above the seventh shot, above the creative rings, is part of how I want to help people get considerably more energy into their bodies and therefore their lives. It seems like if you can get more of your energy past your creative rings, even if you're not in all your chakras yet, it just gives you more of a feeling of like, I'm really here, I'm really in this. So I look at a lot of people and they're kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of their life, and it's not even, I mean, if I'm looking at my clients, it's not even that they want to be that way, it's just that it's like something's there blocking them and they don't know what it is, so a lot of that is just some blocks up there, some pretty clever blocks too. I mean, like this one client, both her parents are invasive, I would say. But the dad is more like in your face, invasive, and the mom stands back a little more. But she's the crafty one that put the pieces of energy above the creative rings for my client. That was like, you're not ready yet. You don't know enough yet. Hold on, wait a minute. Like this kind of stuff that trips up my client, and she feels that energy. She's like, oh, not yet. I'm not ready yet. Oh, and so a whole bunch of her energy stays out above the creative rings. So anyway, so we're gonna remove that type of energy above the creative rings so you can bring so much more energy of yours that you want to bring into your body in. So that should be fun. Another thing that we'll play with, I'm not sure how much in this healing versus the next healing, is, I mean, obviously the theme is be bold, right? So I want to work, help people to clear energy blocks that cause you to be unintentionally passive versus being active in your life. um, uh, like for example, for me, sometimes it's unmotivating for me if I feel like I've already failed. If I feel like, oh, I don't have enough time to do it. What a shame. Oh, I wish it were some other way. Oh, and it's kind of like this deflation if I feel like I've failed. Um, and the thing is, it's not like I have failed. It's just old energy sitting around in my space, making me, that gets triggered by a current situation. And then I think I failed already. And so I don't, it'll cause me to go into more of a fiddly, like, working around the edges kind of mode versus like pedal to the metal, let's get this done. It's full steam ahead type mode. So that's what I want to work, is that idea of, if you get caught up in stuff that's causing you to be passive in your life versus being active in your life when you want to be. There are other levels of that, other flavors of that, which I think are interesting, but that's the one that I know will be in there, to clear blocks that cause you to be unintentionally passive versus being active in your life. But then there's a lot of stuff I would like to do, and we'll just sort of see how it goes. See what fits best. I did want to mention the August healings, which is in 2 months, which they did sell out a couple days ago on the 15th. The twin set, actually, there were like 3 spots that hadn't sold out on the 15th, and they sold out like by the morning of the next day. So if you miss like right when they go up on the page, it's still worth checking, because there may be like 1 or 2 spots left in the twin set sometimes. So but anyway, they're sold out. But I had changed the theme completely to something that, I mean, I liked the original theme, but I felt like this one would more address people's issues for August. It's the same theme for both sets, but it's a very deep theme, so there's more you can work. It's basically like enhance your clairvoyance, improve your clairvoyance, improve your intuition, improve your logic, and something else when you heal yourself. Because I notice, I mean, I work with people at all different levels. It's sort of like a one-room schoolhouse, right? So I'm teaching beginners as well as advanced people, and sometimes the advanced people are like, can you stop saying all that beginner stuff? And it's like, well, no, I can't, because I'm teaching beginners as well. But anyway, logic. Like that ability to problem solve and be like, okay, why don't I feel good? I did the basics I always do. Why don't I feel good? Let me look. Let me use my clairvoyance to look at my chakras. Like one person, they were like, oh, I just don't feel that good after this healing. It's like, well, yeah, all your chakras got damaged. Somebody just whacked the crap out of you. And it's been that way for several days. Like they filled out the survey like a week after the last healing. And but it doesn't occur to that person, even though they've heard about chakra repair. They've probably, hopefully, done it on their own before. They've certainly gotten a lot of healings before, and it never occurred to them to just check, like, gee, are my chakras like blown to smithereens? Because the answer was yes, and chakra repair doesn't take that long, and I think she has done it before, so she knows the concepts. But it's that logic. Can you apply logic? Someone in their survey was like, oh, I don't know why. The first 2 healings in the set felt very magical for me, and this third one just doesn't feel the same way. Well, yeah, because you have a lot of damage in your space because something else happened. It's not just the healings. You have people in your life, and they can throw energy and cord you and whatever. So it's applying that logic and the knowledge, and not putting up with not being able to see. Clairvoyance is I mean, I suppose for some people, it just falls into their lap and they have perfect clairvoyance, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the way it happened to me. I had to really work for my clairvoyance, and I still have to work for my clairvoyance. You know, if I feel like I'm not seeing well enough, you know, I can see maybe close up, but I can't see at a distance. I can't see like the big picture of my space. I have to work at it. I have to clear energy so that I can. It's not just like, you know, like I have two hands automatically, you know. So, you know, the ability to work for that, work for your clairvoyance, and then use it and, you know, solve your problems quickly. You know, that's what August is going to be about. It's going to be about, you know, improve your abilities and actually use them. Be logical, you know, because it's all this stuff. It's like people learn it and it's interesting, but then actually applying the knowledge is not automatic for most people, which is kind of fascinating. But I think it just, people have mental blocks about being logical and applying the knowledge that you already have. And I think that's not just with energy healing, but it seems to be more pronounced with energy healing. Where someone like massively gifted and knowledgeable will be like, yeah, I just don't feel as good. I don't know why. You know? And it's like, well, you could look and in about a minute and a half you would know why, you know, but it's just, you know, and it happens to me too, you know. There's just the ability to use the knowledge in a logical, practical, time efficient manner is a thing. So anyway, that's what we're gonna work in August. Probably a little bit here and there until then too, to build up to it. But anyway, so I'm very excited about August. And so if you miss purchasing those, you know, you can follow along and heal yourself in August. If you don't get my news emails, you know, then you wouldn't have known about the change in the theme. If you want to get my news emails, just email me, janet@janetwrightreadings.com, and say, hey, can you add me to your news email list? All right. Is that all I want to say right now? I think maybe. I think too, part of one of the other flavors that I thought, well, is on the maybe list, the angels are telling me is on the definite list for today. So that's nice, because it is interesting. In addition to clearing blocks, so you're not unintentionally passive and you can be more active in your life, there's also a different contrast between observing and acting. Observing and taking action. So sometimes people take action when they really should just sit back and observe. Like maybe your friend is freaking out and maybe it's not your problem. It's something that your friend needs to resolve, but maybe you don't realize at that time, you know, and you kind of get triggered and you go into action when your angels and your higher self want you to just step back and observe. Observing, you can observe other people and you can observe yourself. And sometimes, you know, if you observe yourself and your own patterns, you can really avoid a lot of drama and just jump ahead, you know, by observing. So observing is different than this unintentionally passive stuff. You know, observing can really be strengthening. So even though the theme today is being bold, you know, if you clear blocks between observing and acting, then sometimes, you know, you don't need to waste energy on acting in a certain situation where really your role, your best role, your ideal role is to more observe. And then that'll save you that energy and distraction so that you can be bold in other areas of your life. So it is related to being bold in sort of an ironic way, maybe. But anyway, the angels like it for today, so we'll do that too. And thank you everybody for your surveys from the final healing of the last set. I did review those as I prepared for today's healing, because most people get all the healings, not everyone, but most people do. So the final surveys just help me think and realize what to do in the next set. Every survey helps. Um, so there's that. So I'm gonna check out. Oh, and also today, as the new normal, this is only a healing, only a massive healing of 130 people, amazing techniques, all sorts of teaching, fabulousness, but not a Q&A afterwards. I had been doing very long Q&As after each of these long healings, and I'm not doing that anymore. So I do have lots of, there's a whole playlist of like a year's worth, like 13 months, I think, of Q&A live streams if you want to, binge out on a lot of Q&A energy. If I have room, I'll link that below, the Q&A playlist. They're not super recent, but I mean, it's not like this information expires and, like milk in the fridge or something. So you could still learn a lot from those live streams. And of course you can post under any video at any time. I did notice more people are posting under the videos their questions now that there's no Q&A, which I think is a positive thing. I think sometimes, I think, people enjoy that live stuff, but I think sometimes people think a little bit more about the issue when they write it down, and then they have to wait for the response. And again, if you write down an issue, a question for me or for anybody in your life, give it to your angels, give the energy of that question to your angels and your higher self, so that you're, from the moment you ask the question, you're open to the answer. You're open to seeing and hearing from your angels and your higher self. So that, if and when I respond, it's just enhancing the process, but it's not something you're like holding your breath for somebody else to help guide you. You want to, as much as possible, acknowledge and make use of all your eternal wisdom. And of course, you have massively knowledgeable and wise angels that are always ready to help. Okay. So this is hello, we can see and hear you. That's good. Hello to you. So this is we can see and hear you. We can, hello from sunny Ottawa, Canada. We can see you and hear you. Morning, Janet. We can see and hear you from sunny and windy San Francisco, 61 Fahrenheit. Hello from Evergreen, Colorado, sunny and 68 degrees. So you guys are all kind of chilly, relatively. Yeah, we've been in the 50s and 60s. At night, we've been in the 40s. At night, having cool evenings is not unusual for our area, but the daytime temperatures being lower is somewhat unusual for June for us. But I kind of like it. I mostly like it as a gardener, because then there's no time of day that's too hot for me to go out and garden in the front yard that is really sunny and gets really hot because it's all wood chipped, and the wood chips seem to enhance the heat. So anyway, it's been good gardening. Hi Janet, it's 82 in Southwest Michigan. So that's pretty warm. That would be too warm for me to garden outside. So this is hi from Chicago. Beautiful summer day here. Well, that's good. Hey Janet, good to see and hear you. Brightly overcast and 64 in San Diego, California. Sun and 68 coming. Well, that's nice. All right. Oh, good. Be bold. I like that. Okay, so of course we're going to do the 4 essentials first. First I'll do a quiet time, and then you'll see me go like that. I started the healing. A minute later I start talking. And then, so for the bulk of the healing, I'm explaining as I go, so you could use it as a walkthrough if you want and heal yourself at the same time. So yeah, so we will do the 3 minutes of quiet right now as I finish my prep. Say hello to the 130 people that I will be healing. Oh, geeky stats! Of the 130 people in 11 different countries, 12 of them are kids, ages 4 to 17, which is so nice. I would have loved to get energy healing as a kid. Ugh. I didn't even know there were actual modern day people that did energy healing when I was a kid. Had a very sheltered childhood. Sheltered and fairly mainstream slash killjoy childhood. But anyway, good news is I grew up. Okay, of those 130 people, 101 are in the US, 7 are in Qatar, 4 are in Canada, 4 are in South Korea, 3 are in the United Arab Emirates, 3 are in Ukraine, 2 are in Serbia, 2 are in Spain, 2 in the UK, 1 in Luxembourg, and 1 in Germany. So hello everybody! Hello to all the 130 people that I'm healing in all those different countries. How fun is that? And of course, hello to the people that weren't able to purchase or somehow for some reason did not purchase. Of course, you also can watch and heal yourself as you watch if you wish. Okay. So now, finally, the 3 minutes of quiet. All right, thank you for waiting. So, as you heal, you're using gold light from your hands. Your hands have big energy centers, one in the palm of each hand. Also, you have energy centers, one in each fingertip. Like all chakras, they generate energy. Even if you didn't know you have them, they're generating energy. But if you know you have them, the cool thing is you can kind of unblock them, like you wash them out with cold soap and water, so they're less blocked, so they generate more energy. And you also set them, like they have a open cylinder shape, chakras do. Of course, like they're different shapes based on where they are. So your fingertip chakras are smaller than say, your heart chakra in the center of your chest. But anyway, you can set these energy centers to be a metallic gold color similar to this glitter. If you need a reminder of what metallic gold looks like. And as you set them to that color, what that does is that means that the color they're generating is that color, metallic gold. So you can do that even if you can't see energy yet. But just a note, if you're a newbie, yeah, okay, you don't have to worry about seeing energy. But if you've been doing this for a while and you still don't see energy, that's a thing. Like, keep on blocking specifically so that you can gradually more and more and more see your own energy, see your own chakras, see your own auras, your groundings. It's not something that only Janet does. It's not something that only certain people do. It's something that's going to save you an insane amount of time to be able to see your own energy. And you don't have to just give up on that. I mean, it's an ability. You have the chakra, 6 chakras, 6 layer. Everyone has it. You know, if you don't kind of fight to use it, basically. I mean, fight is a weird word, but like, if you don't have that intention and unblock enough so that you use it, it's kind of a waste. But anyway, okay. So have a copy of all your auras, your chakras, your grounding out in front of you, and just wash through this little mini you. As you heal this copy of you, you're healing yourself. And it's okay if you can't see yet, you know, but if you've been doing this for a while and you still don't see yet, that's like, I would suggest that that's not okay. Like, work it, you know, unblock. Get a little assertive in your freaking energy healing work. Don't just be like, oh, well, I'll act like a newbie and guess all the time. If you've been doing this a while, you don't have to guess anymore. You can gradually bust out the limits that are in the way of your clairvoyance. You can be bold as an energy healer and reader of yourself. Okay, so just gold light everywhere. There can be a lot of energy blocks all over the place. There can be hard objects that came in, people threw. You know, people go through phases, you know, like my birth father, like for like a day and a half was throwing sharp objects at me until I was like, you know, let's talk on a spirit level. And now he's back to his like, oh, sorry about that. You know, I'm not really like that on a spirit level. But, you know, it happens. This stuff happens, you know, so comb through, clear the shrapnel, clear the spears. You know, there are reasons why some days feel, you know, non-magical. So, you know, and the answer is within your auras and within your grounding. So just gold tidal wave, gold tsunami, gold sandstorm, whatever it's going to take to just melt that shit away. Excuse my French. So let's work grounding. Grounding is the first of the 4 essentials that we're going to do. So recreate your groundings, astral body grounding and physical body grounding. Make them very wide as all your auras, and wide all the way down to the core of the earth. Pick a color for them, same color for both groundings, red or orange or yellow. And then give a copy out in front of you of both those groundings, and just clear out all the junk. Melt it away, burn it up with gold light. Part of being bold is you don't accept drama within your space. It's like, okay, this is a drama-free zone, and just clear it out. You have to, it's like you have to be more determined than the most oppressive forces in your life. And you don't fight them externally. You just clear them out internally. And it's your space, so it's really not that hard. You just have to click out of the vegetative state. you know, of like click out of your roadkill moment. And we're going to work that more in the healing, but at least right now, just through your intention, through your, you know, self-talk, you know, kind of nudge yourself into action and just bunch together all the junk in your grounding and burn it up with gold light and melt it away. You could have people in your life that are trying to intimidate you, people that are trying to, they think they're trying to help you, but they're like all over the place in your space. So just melt them away. They don't belong in your grounding. They don't belong anywhere in your space. This is not like a community couch or something. So grounding. Grounding is your connection to the core of the earth. It's supposed to be for you to release energy and also to bring up earth energy. So it's really important, and that it be very wide and flowing throughout, even in the back, even in the center core part. So melt away the blocks. All right, so that's grounding and grounding unblocking. So then indie grounding is where you're still using the copy of both your groundings, and you check the outer perimeter and use lots of gold light and just burn off any connections to other people's groundings, because that's going to mess up your grounding and theirs. So that's silly. So just lots of gold light. And again, you could have people that think they're helping you by cording into your grounding, or they think that you're some like, you know, they could like you and be trying to mess with you in a way. I mean, they don't think they're messing with you. They're just, you know, whatever. They're just being invasive for whatever reason. But just melt all that junk away. Cold light, melt it away. You can tell people, hey, go check your own grounding. Go take a deep breath. Go ask your angels for help with grounding. It's going to help you have a good day, I promise. Okay, so that was indie grounding. So then let's do aura repair of your 17 auras. Oh, I should plug in my laptop. Hold on one sec. Speaking of being logical. All right. So aura repair of 17 auras. So you have a physical body aura, you have an astral body aura, and you have 15 auras that are called Wei Qi auras. I explained it in the healing summary. But anyway, so that's how you have 17 auras. So the detailed healing summary I will write up. It will be in the comment section within a day. So you imagine your 17 auras out in front of you. They're all in the same place, so it looks like one big bubble, but it's really 17 bubbles in the same place. And you comb through them, and you're checking for rips, visually and intuitively. And unless you're a newbie, do not accept not being able to see. Go ahead and work at it. Be like, oh yeah, there is a rip right there. I'm pretty sure, you know, or, you know, you just kind of try it. Don't be like, all I see is black. Oh, well, never mind, you know. Don't do that. Be determined. This is an ability of yours that you actually have. You have a sixth chakra. It's not like you were born without one and everyone else has one. Patience and determination are a really good combo with this kind of stuff. You know, yeah, be patient if you can't see great yet, but be determined that you're going to just, as you keep healing yourself, you're going to clear the blocks in the way. You're going to be determined enough to see it through and expand your clairvoyance. All right, so you're combing through all your 17 auras. You're checking for rips visually and intuitively. But then you could repair them manually like that. If you find one, just keep washing it so it grows back. But I'm gonna just do composite copy technique, which you can do too. So you make a copy with your intention of a rip, and have it with your intention, have that rip represent all the rips in your 17 auras that you need to repair right now. And then you repair the rip, and therefore that repairs all of the 17 aura rips. All the rips in your 17 auras. Okay, so you have your rip, your composite copy rip, and you want to clean it out really, really good before, so that the gold light makes proper contact and everything gets repaired. So to clean it out really thoroughly, you could use sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands that sticks to everything that's not you. So fill it up with sticky gold wax and get rid of all the junk as a lump. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Fill up all the sticky gold wax. Get rid of the junk in a lump. Angels, here you go. Wow, 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 wow. You may make sound effects along the way, which is okay, I suppose. Okay, so that's repairing the rips. That's aura repair. You may have a few rips still that were more stubborn that didn't get repaired, so you could make one more copy and have that represent the remaining rips, any leftover rips that are still needing repair. So your leftover rip copy, just fill that up with sticky gold wax, get rid of the junk. Angels, here you go. Again, fill it up with sticky gold wax. Have the junk be a big lump. Angels, here you go. And then go ahead and repair this rip. Use so much gold light that it grows back and repairs itself. All right, good job. So that was repairing all the auras. And so then you can have hard objects, you can have hard like energy blocks, or leftover from people throwing energy at you, like hard plates of energy. So you can have those in the outer surface, which I call aura scarring, or you can have them just in a certain part of a couple layers. And that I call aura bruising, but it's the same idea. It's just hard junk. So go ahead and put in piles, you know, any copies of any hard objects that people threw at you, copies of any aura scarring and bruising, copies of any other junk that you want to get rid of, and just, you could blow it all up. If you're healing someone else, don't blow up their stuff. So if you're healing someone else, you know, just make the pile, of course, if you have their consent, make the piles of the junk that they're trying to get rid of, and then just run gold light through it, so that they're letting go of it as it melts. So again, pile out in front of you copies of any aura scarring or bruising, any sort of leftover hardness from having stuff thrown at you. Also, any hard objects that were thrown at you, any energy blocks left over that you want to get rid of, and just use lots of gold light and just melt it all away. And if any of that did not melt, you have leftovers, you can just wrap all that up in a gold blanket and give it to your angels. Angels, can you take all that? And you do have angels, even if you didn't know you have angels. So when you say angels, they hear you and you're talking to your angels. All right, so then let's, you can have invasive beings too in your space, and especially causing you to not be very clairvoyant and not see your own energy. But also causing other silly things like sleep disturbances, overactive mind, all sorts of stuff. So we don't want that. So that stuff can also be caused by energy blocks. But usually invasive beings, you know, they're opportunists and they just sort of get in the way add to the issues. So we don't want that. So just imagine all your space, your groundings, all your auras, your physical body, your astral body, and want to get rid of any evasive beings that you're ready to get rid of. So just big gold netting, big cube of gold nets, all the way down beyond the core of the earth, all the way above you, all around, and just collapse in the gold nets so that you're going to tangle up all the invasive beings and drag them out in the netting and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Okay, big collapsing gold nets. Again, tangle up all the invasive beings you're ready to get rid of, especially ones that are fucking with your clairvoyance. Excuse my French. Sorry about that. Angels, can you get rid of all these beings, please? Okay, so then let's just finish up the aura repair. You could have just little holes, little gashes left over from removing hard objects. So just gold light, especially around the edges of all your 17 auras to finish up your aura repair. You don't want any leaks. All right. Excellent. Great job. So that was 2 out of 4 of the essentials. So now we'll do creative ring, repair, and unblocking. Not the extra special jump into your life with both feet creative ring. Well, that's not really unblocking, but it's unblocking above the creative rings. We'll do that later after the 4 essentials. But right now we'll just do the standard creative ring, repair, and unblocking, including the inner part. So your creative rings, 3 gold rings right above your head. They come and go with you as a spirit. They generate a lot of gold light, send it downward to your chakras, very helpful. Also, you're coming and going through your creative rings when you get more present and less present, when you wake up in the morning. So just, you can imagine copies of your 3 gold creative rings and repair them, because they can get damaged, they can get smashed and cracked. So just use lots of gold light. And this is a good time to start practicing your clairvoyance. You know, see them, look for cracks, look for, you know, whatever around them. They're 3 gold rings, and, you know, there could be a lot of shadowy junk around them. Maybe that's a being. So you say, angels, can you recycle all these? You could have like a big sort of high black walls all around your creative rings. That's, you know, like I'm looking at one guy, it's from his dad when he was growing up. His dad was kind of threatened by independent thinking by his kids. So, you know, you don't have to still let your parents, you know, affect your thoughts that way. So just, if you have a wall up around your creative rings, just loosen it up with gold light. Get rid of it, give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. So any restrictive walls around your creative rings, just loosen them with gold light, lift them out. Angels, here you go. Could be from past lives too. Restrictive walls around your creative rings, just surround them in gold light, lift them out. Angels, here you go. And flaps, your creative rings, and also your chakras, around the chakra openings. There are flaps, and when they're open, that means they're irritated. It's an irritated state. So you don't want them to be open like this. But if you have pairs of cords going into your creative rings, sending energy in, that irritates the creative rings, because that energy is not yours. It's just too much energy, and so then they'll kind of puff out like that with the flaps open. So the more cords you melt, and the more you unblock, melt away any blocked energy, the more the flaps can relax, and then ultimately they fall shut. So it's just a smooth outer surface without these flaps sticking out. So just keep melting cords going into your creative rings, melt energy blocks so that your flaps can relax and fall shut. And that's for all 3 of your creative rings, and the round openings of all your chakras, your major chakras as well. But you can do your creative rings first, and then we'll do all the major chakras. So again, we're just melting cords with gold light. We're melting all the sticky, blocked up junk that they're cording into. All right, and so that was letting the flaps relax of your creative rings. So then you can imagine, your creative rings, and then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the major chakras up and down your spine. You have 2 sets of them, 1 astral, 1 physical set, 7 and 7. So when you're fully present, all the astral chakras, the 7 astral chakras fit inside the 7 physical body chakras. If you're not fully present, maybe the upper ones fit in, but the lower ones don't. But anyway, just be aware of the round openings of each one. That dark thing in the middle is just to hold the shape. I'm going to get rid of it. This is annoying. Okay. So anyway, around the round openings of the major chakras, those flaps can get irritated and be open as well. So just imagine the chakras 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just relax the flaps by melting cords. And allow yourself to see energy. It's okay. And just notice, what do you see around your chakras? You see a lot of white, you see a lot of black, you see nothing. You don't have to see to do this work, but it really expands your abilities to be able to see as you're working. So just move out the energy blocks, and you could blow them up or give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Move out the energy blocks in your major chakras. You can melt them with gold light. Move out the energy blocks. Angels, here you go. Also in your creative ring, so just move out the blocks all at once. Angels, here you go. And again, keep melting cords so all the flaps relax. All right, good enough. So that is creative ring repair and unblocking, and also relaxing all the flaps in all your major chakras. All right. So then the final of the 4 essentials is chakra repair. And it is very important. Like, in the intro, I said this one person was like, oh, this healing just wasn't as magical as the first 2. I don't know why. And that person had, like, their 7th and their 6th were just cracked, but then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 had, like, significant damage in the back of each one. So yeah, if your life is not feeling as magical as you think it should be, it could be that you actually have damage, damage to your chakras, your auras, whatever. So that's why we call this stuff the essentials, is to fix all that. So now it's chakra repair. My dog Abel, he gets weirder as he gets older, which is possibly true for all of us. But he just kind of stands around and walks around now for no reason. It's okay, buddy. All right, so chakra repair. Just imagine a copy out in front of you of that represents all your chakras, all your major and your minor chakras. So also all your acupuncture points, those are little chakras. I call those minor chakras. So and the ones in your arms and your legs and all that, I call this minor chakras. So you have your major chakras, the 7 major ones along your spine, astral and physical, and then all the others, right? We're repairing and unblocking all of them at once. So you have that copy out in front of you, your open cylinder, and you're going to use gold light to repair all your chakras all at once, of your body and your spirit. Lots of gold light. You can bring up you can melt cords. Lots of gold light, melt cords. Melt the energy blocks around the chakras. You can have blocks blocking the round openings so that your energy doesn't flow in and out as well. So melt those away. You can have energy blocks wrapped around the outer surface or stuffed inside. So just imagine them and unblock. And lift out any blocks that you want, and you can just melt them with gold light. Lift out the blocks, melt them away with gold light. Lift out the blocks. You can give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. You know, as we're doing this, like the unblocking here and here, you can think of, you know, some of these chakras are those first points, you know, the first, say the first, there's some here, some in your fingers, some of your toes, some here. But the first points of your meridian. So it's like the river, meridian is like a river, and with energy centers throughout. And the first energy center in the river, sometimes that gets especially blocked. So you can just imagine all the chakras, including the first points, those first chakras and the meridians, and unblock them so that the energy doesn't kind of dam up and cause pressure for you. You want to do it to the extent that's healthy and gentle to do right now. All right, and then we could think of the theme too as we're finishing up unblocking all your chakras. The theme is break out of your inner limits, but really any limits, because it could be, you know, like that stuff up there that maybe your mom put up there for somebody else. You know, so break out of limits, clear limits, be bold, jump into your life with both feet. Maybe there are some energy blocks in your chakras in the way of that, right? Keeping you from being so bold. So just lift out the energy blocks in the way, and you can blow them up. You can melt them with gold light, or you can give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. So lift out any blocks in any of your chakras in the way of being bold as much as you want to, and give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift out any energy blocks in the way of being bold in a healthy way. Lift out those energy blocks. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Lift out any energy blocks saying that you're not ready to be in your life yet. It's like, okay, no, this is the time to be in your life. So any energy blocks that are kind of trying to trick you and say that you're not ready to be in your life, just lift out those blocks. Give to your angels. The angels, here you go. Okay, so that was chakra repair and unblocking in general and for the theme. Also, we melted cords and closed the flaps around the, let the flaps close. As we melt the cords, the flaps relax and fall shut. So that your energy can go through the big openings, but it's harder for people to cord around the round openings. All right, good job. So that's all your 4 essentials, which you don't have to take as long as I just took. You know, I'm healing 130 people, so that's why it takes that long for me. Also, I'm explaining it as I go, which you wouldn't have to do if you're healing yourself. So, let's do that jump into life with both feet thing. That I mentioned in the intro. Meaning, specialized on blocking above the creative rings. Because you bring in your energy, when you wake up, your energy ideally comes through your creative rings, those 3 gold rings above your head. Sorry about that. There's a skylight above there. There's like a little, you know, tube kind of skylight, and so it kind of messes up the lighting on the camera. I'm not actually, you know, lit above here. It's just a skylight. It's not, I'm not glowing personally. So sorry about that. Anyway, so if you imagine your creative rings above your head, you don't want anything to like keep you from being able to come in as much as you want to, as much as is healthy, so that you can be bold in your life, right? If you can only bring half your energy in that you're trying to bring in, it's a lot harder to be bold in your life. You know, you're like, I'm gonna be bold, but I don't have a lot of energy. So we don't want that, right? So just imagine your creative rings and imagine any pieces of energy, they could be from past lives too, up above there. That is sort of like a gate that you're not able to bring your energy through. So any restrictive gate, or, you know, just a bunch of blocked up energy, you know, it could be just hard energy kind of stacked up here, you know, boom, 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 boom. It could be a lot smaller than that. I mean, actually, that's probably a good size for what it might be in your space, but for AccuDoll, you know, it would be much smaller. But anyway, so your creative rings, it's above there, right? Because the idea is, if someone's trying to keep you from going really into your life and bringing in all your energy, they're going to put it above your creative rings. So just imagine your creative rings and above there, what's the limiting sort of gates, and just something that's trying to psych you out and keep you from coming in. And just imagine, like, you know, flat pieces of energy, or, you know, boxes, whatever, and just melt them with gold light. Or blow them up if you're healing yourself. Could be energy, religious energy from religious authorities. It could be government authorities, you know, like a school teacher you had when you were 5, you know. It could be an older sibling that you had, and, you know, when you were like 8, they put that there, you know, because they thought you were too loud, you know, and they thought you were uncool because they were 3 years older than you. So just imagine your creative rings and any of these limiting, sort of like discouraging gate energy that just keeps you from actually coming into your life. And melt it away with gold light. Burn it up. Blow it up. You know, maybe it says you're not cool enough, you're not perfect enough, you're not ready, you don't know what you're doing, whatever message with it. Doesn't matter, just melt it all away. maybe you're not holy enough, you're not obedient enough, you're not smart enough, pretty enough, whatever. And just notice how that is without that energy. Notice if some of your energy is able to come in now that couldn't come in before. So again, your creative rings, and notice above there. And any sort of, it could be, in a past life. Say your dad thought you were being too opinionated about who you should marry, and in that culture they had arranged marriages. So they put some energy up there of like, know your place, basically, trying to get you to not be so present and have opinions. So you can melt that away. So keep breathing. Breathe into your shoulders, breathe into your hips, breathe into your toes, into your fingers. And again, maybe some people did it and they put kind of a religious tone on it, or some kind of a tone like that they know better than you, but I mean, it's your energy. It's your energy that is meant to come in to your body. So they're just being invasive and playing some head game with you. And again, it could be from a past life. You don't even know these people anymore. So it's time. So imagine your creative rings, and then imagine any of that, like, holier than thou, we know better than you garbage up there, and just melt it away. Because you could say, angels help me to be wise in my life. Angels help me to make the right decisions. Angels help me to live a healthy life, right? And that is a good safeguard. That's not going to get in your way, but keeping this old bossy stuff from, some rando controlling person in a past life isn't going to help you make the best decisions. It's just going to kind of flatten your vibe. And who wants that? Right? So again, your creative rings, and above your creative rings, just some kind of authoritative, bossy energy, and just melt it away. And deep breaths, and just feel how that feels to bring in more of your own energy. Breathe into every cell of your body. Feel your auras around you too. That's your energy. All right. Good job. So that's to help the whole jump into your life with both feet idea. The reality of that, so that you actually have more energy of yours to come through your creative rings, and then be in and around your physical body, so that you can be more present and feel more here, more checked in, more clicked in, more like you're more real. You're not just some confused little bubble. All right. So we can do more of what I mentioned in the intro, meaning clearing blocks between passive and active. So you can, like sometimes, I said an example in the intro where sometimes I feel defeated if some kind of failure energy gets triggered, and I feel like I won't have time or energy or whatever to finish a project. Then I get like all like, woe is me, even just subtly, or like it makes me waste time and not work on the project at all. So that's energy blocks causing me to be passive rather than to take action. So you may have some of those too that affect you consciously or subconsciously. So you can imagine like passive and active. And like say, maybe there are flower petals that represent your energy. And so, and make them, rainbow colored flower petals that, say rainbow colored rose petals. And maybe some of your energy, and by passive, we mean like an unhealthy passivity, like unintentional or like a deflated passivity, right? Versus having the ability to take action. And so there's sort of a deflated passivity versus being able to take action, right? And look at how many of your rose petals representing your energy are, or you can represent it some other way, but how many of your rose petals representing your energy are in the passive side, the unintentional kind of deflated passive side, and how many are in the action taking, I can take action, I have the energy, the motivation, and the I am able to take action side. And just look at that and then see if that's surprising to you, where your rose petals are and the unintentionally sort of unhealthy passive part, where you're deflated and it's just kind of that you're shut down, versus the I can take action part. And there could be energy blocks causing you to have more rose petals in the sort of the defeated passive part. So just line up those energy blocks that are causing your rose petals, your energy, to be in the deflated, defeated passive side, right? And just melt away those energy blocks. You can stack them up like, like playing cards or like rocks. So just imagine all the blocks causing your energy, even like 10% of your energy, to be in the sort of deflated passive side of it. And just melt those energy blocks. So again, we have like a sort of a continuum, and we have when you're able to take action versus when you're sort of defeated and kind of smushed, and you're passive in sort of a no fun kind of way, So there's no fun passive, and there's the ability to take action side. And what energy blocks are dictating, causing your energy to be more in the no fun passive side. And just melt those energy blocks. And we want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. You can always do more with your angels later. So we have the no fun passive side, the ability to take action side, and just melt the blocks, causing any of your energy to be in the no fun, deflated passive side. All right, so I want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. So you may not be perfect yet, but that's okay. You do what we can do today, what's healthy to do today, right? And you can say, angels, if I need more work on this, can you please help me with it? And that way they can work with you in your sleep on it. They can work with you when you're awake subconsciously on it. And of course you could do this little exercise on your own. Just imagine, your energy where you can take action, and your energy that's stuck in like a no fun, deflated passivity, and just clear blocks so that more of your energy can take action. All right, so that's that. Clearing energy blocks between passive and active. So now we are going to do another set of contrasts. So we're going to clear blocks in between all that. And this set is actually, there's not like a side that's more less optimal, really. One side is observing and one side is acting. And it's just sometimes, you know, it's better to just observe, and sometimes it's better to just act. Better for you, not like in some sort of an absolute, everyone should do this kind of an idea. But just like maybe your angels are advising you to just observe or to take action at a certain time, or your higher self. But you can have baggage in the way that will cause you to, you know, act when you should just observe, or observe when you should take action. So it's nice to get that cleared out. So you can just imagine, you know, observing and all the wisdom that you can get from observation, and imagine action and all the satisfaction of, you know, taking strides forward in an active way. So there's taking action and there's observing. And are there any energy blocks that distort your knowledge about what you should do at a given time? And just pile up those energy blocks and melt them away. Any energy blocks that make you act when you should just observe, or make you observe when you should just act? So line up any copies of any energy blocks that distort your knowledge and your decision making around observing and taking action. So again, it's not that one is necessarily negative, it's just there's a time for everything, right? And so sometimes the best thing for you personally to do is just observe, or the best thing for you personally to do is to take action. And you want to not have baggage in the way of you figuring that out. You hearing your angels, your higher self, your inner wisdom about that. So there's observing and there's taking action, and what's the baggage in the way of you knowing what's best? And just melt that away. Imagine your baggage around observing and around taking action, and just melt it away. Oh my God, my angels want me to give a personal example. So, okay. So recently, I'll try to be quick, but I paid a guy to come and take away some heavy railroad ties that we had in our front yard that we never put there. They were just there when we got here. And railroad ties, you know, they're these big wood pieces of wood, long pieces of wood. They were like, some were like 7.5 feet tall or 8 feet long, you know, and but they have a lot of chemicals in them, even if they're old. And so, you know, if I don't need them on the property, I want to get rid of them. And so I paid this guy. I told him how many there were. I told him they were railroad ties. I said, you know, how long. I even measured them for him, so he totally knew what he was getting into. We agreed on the price before he got here. And then when he got here, he lifted the 2 light ones. And then when he lifted one of the ones that was an actual railroad tie, which I had told him, you know, how many were actual railroad ties, he burst out like, "Oh my God, this is so heavy." And what did I do? I sprang into action. I said, "Oh, you want me to give you a hand?" Like, hello? I paid him to do it. Like, why would I give him a hand? I'm so much less strong than he is, and I wasn't wearing work gloves. So did I go and get work gloves? No. I just, with my regular hands, which is why I have a little cut right there right now, the tip of my finger. That's my reminder that sometimes you need to just observe and not act. But so I lifted half of, you know, I brought up one end of these 3 heavy railroad ties, which is so ridiculous. This guy is like infinitely stronger than I am. I'm paying him to do it. He said he would do it. And just because he bust out saying, oh, this is so heavy, I like sprung into action, you know, didn't even get my work gloves, which would have delayed it like 2 minutes, heaven forbid. And I lifted half of those roaches without gloves. I was so ridiculous. You know, later I'm thinking like, you know, I'm such a like fixer, you know. And he kind of knew what he was doing, I'm sure, you know. Oh, it's so heavy. Yeah, okay, dude. You know, get this little, you know, thin boned, you know, housewife to lift the other half for you. So anyway, that was an example of where I should have observed. And I should have just allowed him to work through his manipulative energies and, you know, stick with our agreement that he was going to lift it and get rid of it for the agreed upon dollar amount. So I paid him the agreed upon dollar amount, but I actually helped him do all the work. So anyway, whatever. So hopefully I will be less likely to do that because I will work this and clear my baggage around observing versus taking action. And actually we can do another one, helping versus not helping. Because that's a little more direct, right? Because when he burst out saying, oh, it's so heavy, right? I was just like, all my little helping energy blocks, like my mandate to help everyone and everything, you know, got triggered. And I, you know, didn't do the logical thing. I just, you know, with no work gloves, I lifted half of all those heavy railroad ties. I've seen him lift heavy railroad ties all by himself before, by the way, because this is the second time he's gotten rid of railroad ties for us. So he totally could have done it on his own. But anyway. Okay, so imagine helping versus not helping somebody. And it's not always like that helping is good and not helping is bad. You know, sometimes someone needs to work something out on their own, or, you know, there's something else that's meant to be. So it's not like, you know, you're a villain for not helping somebody, right? It's just, you know, what does your higher self say? What do your angels say? What's, you know, what's healthy to do, right? So there's helping and not helping. And what baggage do you have in the way of making healthy choices with that? So just imagine your baggage around helping versus not helping. Maybe you don't help anybody, okay? Then you probably have some baggage in the way, because sometimes maybe your angels do want you to help people, right? So just whatever baggage you have in the way of helping others versus not helping others, and just melt it away. Whatever's healthy and gentle to clear right now, just melt that away. Oh. Okay, helping versus not helping. Just imagine your energy blocks that distort your decision making around that. Maybe block you from hearing your angels. So any baggage that you have around helping versus not helping, just melt it away. All right, I will be doing that more later. Helping versus not helping. Woo woo. Okay, great. So that was clearing blocks. We did it 3 ways actually, around being passive versus taking action, around observing versus acting, around helping versus not helping, just so that your baggage isn't affecting your decisions and choices and what you're able to do. Okay, woo woo. So I'm going to look at a sample person to see what's best for us to do next. So I'll be quiet for a minute or so while I do that. Okay, so thank you for waiting during my little observation period. So this next one is about giving yourself permission and why maybe you're not doing that. So somebody in a survey recently, they were like, well, I need to take better care of myself, but I don't know what I'm waiting for. Like, it feels like I'm waiting for someone to give me permission, you know, to say, okay, it's okay, you deserve to take good care of yourself. So that idea of that you're waiting for some authority to kind of say, yes, it's appropriate for you to do this, you know, versus just being bold, you know, accessing your wisdom, you know, taking your time to observe and reflect, but then once you're sure, just being like, okay, full steam ahead, I'm doing this, right? So what is there something in the way of you having that boldness, giving yourself permission to go for it? Say you already know, you've already reflected upon it, you already know it's the healthiest thing for you, you already know your angels want you to do it, and you're still not doing it, you know? So that's the idea. What is in the way? And I was looking at a sample person, and she had this past life where she was literally imprisoned. Um, it was like a cave, but you know there were people keeping her there, and she was being punished because she had done something inappropriate and violated the rules of her culture, and so she was kept in this prison basically. Um, Not her whole life, but for like half a year, but it was like a big deal culturally, you know, she was sort of shamed, you know, and so for the rest of her life, and since then even, there's a part of her energy still in that cave, you know, being punished, you know. So she doesn't give herself permission to work on her own life. She tends to fix other people's problems. She's the sister of one of my clients, and she gets these healings through telepathic consent. So her spirit says, yes, give me these healings. So anyway, do you have a prison basically? Maybe you did have a life where you were in prison for a short period or a long period of time, and that's why you feel like you're not allowed to do something, to take better care of yourself, or to, you know, start exercising, or to just put your feet up and enjoy a movie or whatever. You know, so what is blocking you from giving yourself permission to be bold? You know, whatever boldness is healthy for you. So your permission prison is what we're calling it. So, and you know, it could be literal like that, you know, because we've all had a lot of past lives, and you know, they used to keep people imprisoned for all different reasons. Maybe you had a restrictive partner at some point, or a restrictive parent, or you know, culturally like that person. You know, so maybe there was literal imprisonment, or maybe it was just like a sort of a guilt trip kind of an idea. But anyway, imagine, to the extent it's healthy and gentle, to clear right now, how many permission prisons, right, are little parts of your energy in? So just imagine little mini yous in your permission prisons, you know, and some could be from this life, you know, some unhealthy relationship you had or unhealthy childhood, or some could be from, many could be from past lives, okay? But whatever, only what's healthy to clear right now. Just imagine little mini yous in your little permission prisons, right? And you're going to be the liberator. You're the cool kid now. You get to free these parts of you. So go ahead and heal these parts of you first, because you don't want like a terrified part of you to come back. I mean, you do, but you want to heal that part first. That feels a lot more gentle. So heal these little mini yous that are in permission prisons, and just lots of gold light. You can bring up red earth energy. You can say, angels, help heal these parts of me. Angels, can you please heal these parts of me? But you do it too. So you're the cool one. You're the strong one who is freeing these parts of you. And so you're healing these parts of you in these permission prisons. And then you can start, you say, angels, help me do this. But you can start melting away the prison, and maybe it's just some guilt baggage, some guilt that was dumped in your space, or maybe the prison is, like some kind of a manipulation in your energy. But whatever, just imagine the little prison walls or the cave walls or whatever, and just melt them away so that you free this part of you. And this part of you can come back. So you can say, angels, help me do this, so that these parts of you come back nice and healed, and you melt away the prisons, the permission prisons. Good job. So we're going to see if there's any more of that to do right now. So we did one time, and now let's do it a second time. If there's any more that's healthy and gentle to do right now. So, if you're feeling spacey, redo your grounding, nice wide grounding, red or orange or yellow. Bring it up high. Bring your grounding up high as your third chakra, where your sternum bone ends, right there. Bring up your grounding that high. So check your grounding, make sure it's nice and flowing. And so then imagine if there are parts of you trapped in old situations, basically, where you were not allowed to do something. Maybe you were literally imprisoned, or you were just like psychologically imprisoned with fear or guilt or shame or something. But just imagine these little imprisoned parts of you in these permission prisons that affect you even now, and just heal these little mini yous. Just say, hey, it's okay. I forgive you. There's nothing to forgive anyway, but you're okay. I forgive you. It's okay. And just lots of gold light. And heal these parts of you that are still stuck in the prisons. Mental prisons or physical prisons, or both. And just melt away. Just say, angels, help me heal these parts of me. And then also melt away the prisons, which could be actual devices in your space or manipulative pieces of energy in your space from those time periods. So just melt away the walls, the cave walls, the prison walls, whatever. Melt all those away, so those parts of you are totally free now to come back. So they're not stuck in the past anymore. You're here, so you're more likely to feel like you're not waiting on somebody else to release you from prison, right? You rescued yourself. Good job. So that was 2 rounds of healing little mini yous, and then melting the prison. So you get back your energy. So let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, this might be the last major thing that we're doing. So time confusion. You can have blocks that cause you to be confused about your sense of time. Like, how much realistically can you get done in a day? Sometimes your mind can think of so many things that you could do, or sometimes your mind can think of absolutely nothing that you could do. It's like really useful to be able to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to have 2 hours today, or I'm going to have an hour and then 2 hours later. And what is the best way for me to use that hour and 2 hours? Oh, this project will work. Oh, I could start that project and that'll be good. Because to use a personal example, hopefully quickly, I tend to think only in big ways. So I'll think of a big project, like planting all the plant starts that I have, which are like, I have easily over 100 plant starts, broccoli, different herbs, different flowers, a ton. Most of them I grew from seed, some I just bought, but anyway, I have so much. And then there's so much that the soil needs to be worked. I mean, a lot of it needs to be sifted, and it's complicated. And I think of it in that, like, the whole A to Z, the entire project, right? It's really hard for me. I'm blocked about thinking about an hour's worth of work. And but if you have an hour and you have 2 hours, say, if you can think of, the little bit that you could do in that time, you could go ahead and do it. And then you feel satisfied, like, oh, that's so cool. I used that time well, But if all you can think of is the giant, A to Z project, and you can't do it in the time that you have in that day, but you're thinking like, oh, I should be able to do it today. I want to do it today, and so you're not really able to break down the time of tasks. And so it leaves you always feeling disappointed, like you didn't do it. Like, oh, another day and I didn't do it, because it is like a month of work. And today is not a month. Today is 2 hours here and 1 hour here to devote to these projects, right? So we're going to clear any confusion that you have mentally, subconsciously, whatever, about time and how long tasks take and what you would like to do. And, to just help you clear baggage so that you can, because part of being bold is going for it, right? But you can't really go for it if you're all tied up in mental knots about trying to do a month's worth of work in a day. It's not, it's gonna like be just this weird psychological train wreck, right? So we don't want the train wrecks. Part of being bold is like, boom, boom, think about it, get it done, think about it, get it done, think about it, get it done, right? Like, and it's not just getting stuff done, it's like thinking of new ideas and all that, right? But part of it is, let's clear our baggage around productivity, our baggage around getting stuff done, our baggage around the perception of time, how much time you have today, how much time you have this week, how much time a task will take. So we'll clear baggage and confusion around time, around tasks, around free time, time that you have. Like, say you only have like 2 hours in a day that's like free to work on a certain project, but you wish you had, 23 and a half hours in a day to work on it, So there could be baggage in the way where you have this unrealistic desire and you're always disappointed because you never have 23 and a half hours to work on something in a day. So some of that is inner child stuff, but not all. Some of it can just be different ways you're blocked. So we're going to work it in this way of like any baggage that you have in the way of perception of time, perception of tasks, perception of free time, productivity, and also enjoying the journey. Because, at the end of your life, when you're in heaven reflecting upon your life, you want to be able to know that, I would think, you want to be able to know that you enjoyed things, I mean, you didn't just drive yourself silly about little things that in the big picture don't matter so much. You want to know that you were able to, have a good time. Right? So, okay, so that's a lot, but I think it's worth doing. So you can make a big gold blanket out in front of you if you want, put all the baggage on top of it, or just stack it in piles, whatever works for you. But put out there it could be copies of your baggage, so it doesn't seem so cathartic, like, blah, but copies of your baggage around your perception of time, your perception of tasks, your perception of how much tasks take, how much time it takes to accomplish something, your perception of how much free time you actually have in a day, your perception of your own productivity, around your perception of around your ability to enjoy the journey of each day, to enjoy your experiences. So all that baggage around time, productivity, enjoyment, all that junk. And you could just blow it all up if you're healing yourself. You can also just use lots of gold light to melt away the baggage. You can say, angels, is it okay to clear all this? Can you help me clear all this? Because say you do a certain task, right? But you think you should have done 20 tasks. So you're not satisfied, which is silly. I mean, you should at least enjoy, pat yourself on the back for what you did do, right? Because if you're always dissatisfied, it's just going to weaken you more, right? So you want to be bold, you want to be strong. Part of that has to do with being logical and just not being riddled with baggage around productivity, perception of time, taking action, enjoying things, right? So let's do one more round of that. Put a big blanket out in front of you, or big dumpsters or boxes, gold boxes, and put all the baggage, copies of all your baggage around your perception of how long things will take, your perceptions of productivity, how productive you should be, how productive you are, whatever. How much free time you have in a day, how much free time you would like to have in a day, your baggage around productivity, your baggage around enjoying each day, and just blow it up or melt it away with gold light. Say, angels, is it okay for me to clear all this? Can you help me clear all this? All right, good job. And one more thing. We'll see how many one more things there are. But 2 big energy blocks. We did this last set. But you can have energy blocks that don't clear, even if you're flowing and you're grounded and you're present, just because they're connected to several other energy blocks, and then maybe your energy and your resistance or other people's energy is like tying them all together. So it's a little too big. It seems overwhelming, and so your spirit is just like, you don't like clear it, even though that's your tendency, is to clear what blocks you. So so let's consciously clear these 2 big energy blocks, because they can be very paralyzing and certainly keep you from being bold. So we don't want that. So just imagine, what are the 2 big energy blocks that you have in your space right now, and maybe they look like giant billboards or whatever. And just you bring up red earth energy, soak all your 2 big energy blocks. You can melt cords from you and other people going into these, and just keep running gold light through them so that like the glue that glues them all together melts away, so then they start clearing. Because they get too big because they're interconnected. It's like several blocks in one. So allow them to disconnect, and then they'll all blow up. So again, put out any 2 big energy blocks that you have, just melt them away. So, okay, one more last thing. Another thing we did in the last set, this one we did in the 3rd of the 3 healings of the last triplet set. Public pain. So public pain, energy blocks, all energy blocks are public technically, because everyone's a reader. All spirits have 6 chakras. They can all read each other. Everyone can read each other on subconscious levels, sometimes consciously even. So all pain and energy blocks are kind of the same thing. So, but there tends to be pain that is more noticeable. Either you are subconsciously showing it to people, you're consciously talking about something that you're stuck about, or for some reason just people can notice it more. And people tend to cord pain and energy, pain and or pain, which are energy blocks. People tend to cord energy blocks. It's not healthy, it's not good boundaries, but you know, whatever, people do it. And so the idea is, are people cording your public pain? You know, yeah, probably. So you can melt the cords and clear your public pain so that you're not like showing these big pain billboards to people and then wondering why you feel so stuck. And then we'll also melt cords going from you to other people's public pain. So that way you just leave their pain alone, you're not cording it, you just observe, right? Okay, so public pain. Put out in front of you copies of your own public pain. So it's just stuff you don't have to know what it is, but maybe it's abandonment energy or fears or anger or whatever. But whatever, what is the energy blocks of yours that people tend to cord? And just bring up red earth energy and lots of gold light and melt away the cords going into all this public pain of yours. And just melt away the energy blocks. So, you know, if they don't exist anymore, no one can cord them, right? And then you're moving forward, which is good. Right, so put up copies of all your public pain the people are cording, and just melt away the cords and melt away the pain. If there's some pain that you feel like maybe you're not sure, maybe you're not ready to clear at this time, just say, angels, can you help me with all this? And that way, you know, if there's something that you're not ready to clear yet, but you still don't want the world cording it, your angels will help with that. All right, so that's clearing your public pain. So what about other people's public pain? Some people have friends that, you know, complain a lot, or a spouse that complains a lot. Some people have a child that complains a lot. But some people, it's not that they're complaining verbally, it just, you know, they just have pain and people tend to see it and they cord it. So it's better to not get wrapped up in all that, because if you're cording, say, your husband's pain, it makes it much less likely that he's ever going to clear it. Whereas if you don't cord it and you just observe it without cording it, it's far more likely that he's going to get over it and evolve much more quickly. So it helps you and it helps him. Win-win, right? So just imagine everybody and all their public pain and don't touch it. Don't give a big group healing. That's pretty risky. So just, there's you and there's everybody else and all their public pain, and just imagine if you have any cords going into anybody's public pain, and just notice your cords and melt your cords away with gold light so that you can observe, but you don't have to cord. And some people want you to observe their public pain, and other people, they don't. They would rather that you not like point it out to them on a spirit level. So that is a whole intuitive call. But I mean, definitely, if you don't cord it, it helps you and it helps them. So just melt your cords going towards other people's public pain. All right. Okay, good job. All right, so as we wrap up, just redo your grounding, red or orange or yellow. You could do a tricolor soak, which is its own video. Tricolor earth energy soak means just give yourself a big red grounding, 2 red groundings, astral and physical, and then use it like big red straws and bring up red earth energy and soak in it. Up, 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 up. Fill up with red earth energy, soak all your auras, your bodies, everything with red earth energy. And then you can bring that down to the level of normal grounding and reset it to orange. So you have 2 orange groundings. Use them like big orange straws. Bring up orange earth energy. Up, 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 up. Soak everything in orange earth energy. And then you can bring that down to the level of your grounding and make them yellow. 2 big yellow groundings, your favorite shade of yellow, and bring up earth energy at yellow color and up, soak in yellow earth energy all the way up through all your auras, your bodies, your chakras, everything. And that's called an earth energy soak. So we did a tricolor earth energy soak, first red, then orange, then yellow. You can leave it up if you want, and you can leave it at yellow or change it to orange or red. So you're soaking in that color earth energy. You could do that, like say if you're going into a store that usually has kind of crappy energy, you can just be like a walking earth energy soak the whole time you're in there. If you want, you can bring the grounding down just to more typical level, but you don't have to. You can leave it up to and have an earth energy soak. All right, and you can redo your gold buffer zones. I forgot to mention that earlier. And there will be a reference video down below about gold buffer zones. So we just did tricolor soak really quickly, and then gold buffer zones. And so now as we finish up, just ask your angels, angels, can you help me finish up this healing? Angels, can you give me a healing and help me to be bold in my life in healthy ways? Couple deep breaths. All right, good job. That's a healing. Woo woo! Yay, good job. You're awesome. Okay, so that's that. There will be no Q&A afterwards. So I hope you didn't post a question, but if you did, you can just repost it again under the video or any other video. And I will post a reply when I have time. So I'm gonna see what the comments were. So this is hello from LA. What's the rules on healing someone else? Is this something I could do with clients? Possibly. You could post that under a video, like a more specific question. Like what could you do? You know, what are you thinking of doing with clients? And with them consciously as a walkthrough, or just yourself later as a meditative thing? So I would need much more specifics to see, you know, but also just check with your angels, see what they say first, and then you can double check with me after that if you want. But yeah, just post a more specific version of that under any video and we'll answer. And if you know, yeah. So this is hello from Chicago, 80 and sunny. Hello to you. Hi, Janet. Sunny Phoenix. Thanks for healing my adult kids. Yes, no problem. Thank you for sharing the story about helping lift the railroad ties. Oh, that's totally something I would have done too and regretted afterwards. It was so ridiculous. And the thing is, I had already like made sure they were dug out of the ground and lifted out of the ground, and they were like really close to the road. So like he had so little to lift them, and yet I still, you know, couldn't leave it alone. So yeah, I have a lot more to clear about that. So this is, can we also do blanket with most corded energy blocks and clean up that first? Blanket exercise is fine to clear energy blocks. It's just that when there are cords, if they're really persistent cords, those blocks may not clear. So melting the cords then, you know, makes sure that they clear. But you could, I mean, technically if you blow a block up with enough force, it'll blow up even if people have corded it. It's just that sometimes, you know, people aren't really watching all their energy blocks, so they're not really, you know, maybe they're not clairvoyant enough yet. So I like to do the most foolproof way, you know, so that even if you can't see and double check on your own, you know, it's very thorough. So melting the cord just makes it a little more thorough, a little more foolproof. So this is my husband and I were just getting done healing when the live stream started. Well, and so you're saying the healing felt relaxing. That's nice. How did my adult kids do? Yeah, you could post that later under a video. Someone says feeling really mellow and sleepy. Might take a short nap. Naps are good. You have time for them. So this is thank you for the healing. You're welcome. Okay, great. So now I will show, actually Zen is nearby, so I can show her. Usually she's sleeping somewhere else, so I can't show her. But she's one of our two cats. The other one is not visible right now. So yeah, so I'll just show my animals as we wrap up. So this is Zen all the way over there. She's hard to notice, but she's like this little black lump above the microwave on that little pinkish blanket. So that's Zen. She's actually black and white, but all her white is not showing right now by the way she's lying down. And that's Abel. He's the one that was walking around for a while. He's wearing a little cone on his head. And then that's, I'm going to use his name that he doesn't know so he can keep resting. But his real name is spelled Izzy, but we also call him Little Man, and then that way he doesn't know we're talking about him. That's his secret name. All right, cool. You guys are amazing, and hope that you're enjoying your June so far, whatever your weather is. We're actually getting rain right now, which is good because we weren't getting rain for a long time, which is odd. Like usually we don't get rain at all in the summer, and it gets a little dangerous as far as fire risk and drought and stuff. So the more rain that we get in the spring, the better. But we had stopped getting rain like really early, like 2 months ago. So any rain we get now is really helpful. So anyway, all right, you're amazing. Take care. And if you want, you can watch the healing that happens in 2 days. That will finish up this set with the theme of be bold, break out of your limits, and jump with both feet into your life. Rah! You can do it.